The Supreme Court had a busy week, and the justices either made a lot of people mad or a lot of people happy, particularly with the ruling of DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act. The court killed a key part of DOMA, and we've talked about the huge impact it has on same-sex couples personally, but it also affects them financially. And some pundits believe it will also have an impact on all taxpayers. To sort it all out, Joe Krier, president of Krier Wealth Management, back here on the morning show.
Hey, Bruce.
First of all, let's talk about same-sex couples here in Florida. The waters are still murky here.
Oh yeah. It changed the laws for same-sex couples that were married in states that allow that to make it so that the federal government also recognizes those. But that still leaves 36 states, Florida and the Southeast among them, that don't recognize this.
And the political implications are still to be determined, because I know that it's a conundrum for the GOP.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the gay and lesbian community has traditionally leaned to the left, if you will, and GOP has to find a way to embrace this. It's thought that there's somewhere between 700 and 800,000 same-sex couples in the United States, and apparently on Wednesday there was a whole lot of matrimony in those states that have already changed their constitution for this.
And for those states that do recognize same-sex marriage, and those states that are going to fall in line pretty quickly, it means the people that live there have to do some financial planning, because it'll have an impact on a variety of things.
Yeah, and some accountants have estimated that there's up to 1,100 different pieces of the tax code that favor married couples, and the biggest of those right off the bat are things like health insurance benefits, where a spouse can be part of a group plan, or tax filing status. Instead of filing 2 returns as individuals, now they can file a joint return. In some cases, that can hurt you because it puts you in a higher income bracket.
What they call the marriage penalty.
Exactly.
Penalty tax. Yeah.
But there's a lot of situations where there's more benefits and deductions to be gained out of that rather than filing separately.
So you suggest that they get some counseling before they go ahead and decide how they're going to file.
Yeah, it's a good idea to do that, and estate planning is really the core of how this court case got going in the first place. It was over a $393,000 tax bill between a lesbian couple that wouldn't have occurred had they had a legally recognized marriage.
And how about Social Security benefits?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes on around this, and one of the I guess, favored strategies that we're trying to use is to have spouses use their own benefits, and then when one spouse dies, to flip over and use the other spouse's benefits. And it's a way to maximize the Social Security benefits coming to a couple, which that planning is now open in those states to same-sex couples.
And let's look at the big picture when it comes to the Defense of Marriage Act, because it means the federal revenues are going to take a hit.
Yeah, it does, and it's it's kind of the general direction here. This is a Supreme Court case where they're sorting out what they feel is right and wrong, but then it dumps right over into Congress that says, well, wait a minute, let's put a pen and pencil to this, and what it equates to is less tax revenue for the federal government and more of a commitment on Social Security and Medicare and other programs like that.
And it increases the burden on Social Security, which is already teetering.
Definitely, and here we're at a time when this is probably going to be one of the core issues coming up in the midterm elections and then the presidential elections in a few years. Things like this are going to be pieces of the puzzle that come into play.
And you maintain it'll lead to better employee retention. How so?
Well, in certain states, they can do things for same-sex couples, but in most situations, they're not afforded the family benefits package that a recognized union would be. And so now employers can put things together to keep good employees if they want to.
And we haven't even touched the surface what it means in 2014 when the Obama health care program goes into effect, because it'll have a big impact on that too. We'll talk about that down the road. Joe Krier, always a pleasure.
Bruce.